emergency under federal law.
President Trump making the nation's opioid crisis a top priority for his administration. Last year alone, at least 64,000 Americans died as a result of an overdose. And while the administration and Congress have laid out big goals to stop the epidemic, some are suggesting that they would like to see the wheels turning faster on this in order to save lives. So while we wait for more action from Washington, what can American families do? What can local communities do? My next guest has dedicated his life to that. He knows the dangers of addiction all too well. Tim Ryan got clean and sober behind bars, only to see his son die from a heroin dose months after that. His story was featured in the A&E docuseries Dope Man. Here's a quick clip.
I overdosed on heroin, hit 2 cars, and almost killed 4 people. I'm the guy to get them into treatment. If you want to get better, you're going to end up dead.
You got a gun and I will definitely shoot your up, bro.
She's a heroin addict. All I want is her. You're a relapse king. You make excuses. It's time to man up.
Tim is also advisor to rehab.com. Tim, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Today, powerful message in the documentary. You lost your son and you went through it yourself. What makes a difference between people who can get clean and people who can't?
There's a lot of variables, but the willingness to want to change. A lot of the families are classic enablers. They try to enable their children to get better. You got to take your emotions out of it. You have to let the professionals do what the professionals do and follow the guidance and direction.
So what are the earliest signs? Because, you know, I have a friend who lost his son. I have a friend who lost a nephew. What should we all be looking for at home?
First thing you need to do is get into their technology. That's where the kids are doing everything today. Cell phone monitoring software, computer monitoring software. If there's an issue, drug test them, but have the resources. You know, their hygiene, their friends are changing, money's disappearing, they don't have money, they're sleeping a lot, they have pinned pupils, they're absolutely doing opiates.
What happened with your son?
Unfortunately, Nick followed in my footsteps. I wasn't a father to Nick. I was a friend. I let him smoke weed and drink beer. When I had overdosed and hit these cars and almost killed 4 people and was fighting my case, I was really dope sick one day, and Nick came in and basically gave me 2 bags of heroin. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Don't worry, Dad, I'm just selling it." And I said, "Nick, you need to shut this down. You know what this drug has done to me." And he looked at me and said, "Well, you're a successful drug addict." So in Nick's delusional mind, because I functioned, I worked, he thought I was successful. Ultimately, 3 months later, we started doing heroin together. I was sentenced to prison. I did 13.5 months. My wife divorced me, lost our house in foreclosure, displaced my wife and 4 kids. When I got out, I set up my foundation. I started working in the treatment space. And on my 21-month sobriety date, my son Nicholas succumbed to an opiate overdose. Worst day of my life. I helped kill my own son, even though he died on my 21-month sobriety date. I have to live with that. But I could take that negative and turn it into a positive, and that's what I'm doing today. I'm sick and tired of burying people.
Bless you. It's an awful scourge. You think the White House is doing everything they can, or what would be your #1 piece of advice for them in the minute we have left?
The president should contact me directly. He needs people like me involved. We need so much more money. We need longer-term treatment. That's why people don't know where to go for a treatment. You know, I work for a treatment center out of Florida, Transformations. I'm an advisor to rehab.com. People can go to this portal and find treatment based on what state they live in, and they're not owned by a treatment center to where it's redirected, but you need to pick up the phone, you need to ask for help, but you need to do your due diligence. The government needs to be allocating so much more funding. We need longer-term treatment, more than 30 days, 90 days, and we need a lot more sober living communities.
That's so key.
Involved.
30 days is not enough.
It's not enough.
90 days
at
is
one
minimum, right?
Minimum.
90 days
and then,
minimum. Everybody needs to get that message.
Yes.
Because it's great to feel like 30 days worked and everything's over and you're all better now. It doesn't work, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right, Tim, good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much for sharing your story. We wish you well in your pursuit. Thank you very much. So coming up tonight, I'll look at this week's big political shakeup in deep red Alabama. The state elected